Representatives from opposition parties have said that Parliament, where the rights of opposition parties are constantly violated and the press is hindered from performing its job, is suffering from the tutelage of the presidency. Parliament is currently witnessing heated debates, even brawls and fights between deputies of the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, and opposition parties over a controversial security package that grants extraordinary powers to the police. Despite harsh criticism and resistance by the opposition and civil society, the government insists on pressing ahead with the contested legislation. Republican People's Party, CHP, Parliamentary Group Deputy Chairman Engin Altay said the rights of opposition parties to speak, as guaranteed by Parliament's bylaws, were violated during discussions on the first 10 articles of the security package. Deputy Parliament Speaker Isa Bahi Kapil prevented us from exercising our rights as stated in Parliament's bylaws. She prevented all the opposition parties from speaking. The first 10 articles of the package were approved in an unlawful manner, he said, adding that Parliament Speaker Semil Sisek, who disregarded the complaints of opposition parties to this effect, also approved the unlawfulness. Altay also noted that it is not only opposition parties whose rights are being trampled on in Parliament. Press members reporting on the unlawful practices in Parliament are also being prevented from performing their jobs. As today's Zama's Parliament Bureau Chief, I had my press card that allowed me to enter Parliament cancelled last week after an AK Party deputy accused me of insulting him. My press card was cancelled after AK Party Diyarbakir Deputy Kuma Ten filed a complaint against me with the Press Relations Board of Parliament on charges of insulting him. The board decided to revoke my card without even hearing my defence. All these actions are the result of Parliament falling under the tutelage of the presidency by the ruling party, Altay said. The CHP deputy also said the December 17 to 25, 2013 corruption probe is behind the efforts to bring Parliament under the tutelage of the presidency. The corruption probe that became public on December 17 and December 25 implicated senior members of the government. The government denies the accusations despite the existence of substantial evidence showing former ministers being involved in bribery and corruption. The AK Party and the mentality governing it, which is afraid of accounting for its actions, have done everything reckless and unlawful in order to prevent the public from being informed, said Altay, noting that just like every pro-tutelage regimes, the President's tutelage will have to give an accounting before the judiciary. The CHP deputy also criticized the cancellation of my Parliament accreditation, noting that this practice will prevent journalists from asking questions to AK Party deputies and writing things that are unfavorable about the government. With the unjust and unlawful practice faced by today's Zama, all press members and journalists in Parliament have been intimidated. Blocking Parliament from those journalists who perform their jobs independently will not cover up either the corruption or the tutelage, he said. Like Iron Curtain practices. Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, Parliamentary Group Deputy Chairman Oktay Viral said the incidents taking place in Parliament over the domestic security package reminds one of Iron Curtain practices. The government knows that it will not be able to have the security package approved without violating Parliament's bylaws. It believes it will ensure that the package is approved by violating the right of the opposition to speak. In order to cover up these unlawful practices, it is taking steps to intimidate the journalists in Parliament. This practice reminds one of the practices in the Iron Curtain countries or North Korea. Behind all this are the instructions of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Unfortunately, Parliament has been brought under the tutelage of the presidency through the hands of the AK Party, Viral said. The MHP deputy said although there are many examples of efforts to silence the opposition in Parliament, There have not been any examples of efforts to silence the press in Parliament's history. With the presidency's tutelage, this has also happened. This is the first time that we have witnessed a journalist's press card being taken away from him due to a complaint from a deputy, he said, lamenting the fact the card was revoked without an investigation into the deputy's claims. The cancellation of my press card followed a question I had asked TEN about some of his claims regarding the Gülen movement, also known as the Hizmet movement and inspired by the teachings of Turkish Islamic scholar Fethullah Gülen. There was no insult in the question and the exchange was witnessed by other journalists in the vicinity. Democratic Development Party, DGP, Chairman Driscoll also voiced similar concerns as other opposition party representatives, saying the pro-tutelage mentality had first struck the AK party. Bull, a former AK party deputy who parted ways with the ruling party due to some disagreements, said he had witnessed the pro-tutelage mentality in the ranks of the AK party many times before when he was in the party. They were disturbed by my reports on some issues as a scientist, an academic and a deputy. The one-man tutelage first besieged the AK party. There are now efforts to bring all the state organs under tutelage through the hands of the AK party, he said. Bull also criticized the cancellation of my accreditation without any investigation, describing the move as an act of intimidation against journalists. Democrat Party, DP, leader Gültki Uysal said some practices of the AK party government are similar to the practices of coup periods, if not worse. He said even the perpetrators of the February 28, 1997 military coup did not think of cancelling the accreditation of journalists in Parliament. Coup periods are remembered as times when citizens of the country were profiled and polarized, the press was silenced, there were arbitrary practices, the justice system was suspended and individuals' rights and freedoms were violated. What we are witnessing today is worse than the practices of those days, said Uysal.